decided to go off on my own and start a practice, that was a huge deal to me. I wanted a roundtable. I wanted a team approach, and I wanted the team approach to include family. My name is Coral. I'm the owner and director of Speakeasy For Kids, and I've been a practicing speech-language pathologist for 20 years. How it started. So believe it or not, didn't even know what speech pathology was. And it was actually my mom that told me about speech pathology. And I just went for it. I didn't really know too much about it. Back in that time when I first went to college, it wasn't like nowadays where you have access to everything through the internet. You have access to everything. We didn't have that. So it was kind of, I just jumped into it and tried it out. And I liked it. And then to become an SLP, you have to go to grad school. So I took a year off. I worked in the field, decided that I wanted to be a speech pathologist, and ended up going to Emerson up in Boston. And one of the classes that I took was on autism specifically. And our professor, part of her program, part of what you had to do to complete the class, was go with her one day and spend the day at Yale University. And it was such a great experience because what they do is they have a roundtable. And what they do is they have every profession. So for example, an occupational therapist, a speech pathologist, a psychologist, a neurologist, everybody does an evaluation on that child. So once everyone's done their evaluation, they come together and they have a roundtable meeting. And I just thought it was so amazing to be able to evaluate and talk about a child from every angle, from every perspective, because in reality, no child is one-dimensional, right? We need to look at them from every angle, from every perspective. And it just makes, it gives you the whole picture. When you're looking at speech and language, when you're looking at communication, that's all you see. That's all you're going to evaluate. You know nothing about the body. You know nothing about nutrition. You know nothing about the other components that make this child up. And all of those other components are very important for what you're doing. And it just was so incredible to see the parents sitting at this roundtable meeting and being able to get all this information from all these different angles, and then as a team make a plan moving forward. So now that we know all of this information, how do we address all these weaknesses that need to be addressed for this child? And parents are a big part of what's going on. This is their child. There's nobody that's going to be more invested in their child than a parent. So it's important to have family members involved in the process. I also think it's also really important. It was a game changer for me. As I went along in the field, I saw how sometimes we as professionals can create a codependency for the parents. So parents become very dependent on us and they're nervous about making any kind of decision without first consulting the therapist. And I think that's horrible. I think if that is happening, we're failing our parents. It should be the other way around. We should be providing all that information to parents, giving them the knowledge base where they feel confident and comfortable enough to make decisions on their own. Why? Because now they're coming from a place of knowledge and they feel very confident now in addressing the needs of their child on their own without having to consult with us whether or not it's a good idea. So seeing that in Yale, seeing that roundtable meeting, when I started a practice, when I decided to go off on my own and start a practice, that was a huge deal to me. I wanted a roundtable. I wanted a team approach, and I wanted the team approach to include family. Something that we do here, we constantly bring in our parents and train them on things that we do so that at home there's carryover, there's generalization. And in addition to, we don't just train parents if there's something that we're doing that the parents want us to teach, let's say they're behavioral therapists, we bring in the behavioral therapists and we train them as well. We're happy to do that. Why? Because again, we have that team approach. We have that team mentality. We know that if we are doing it by ourselves, but we're not sharing what we're doing, it's how much progress can that child make? Are they going to make progress? Yes. Could they be making more progress? Yes. And we know that. We keep that in mind, and we've seen it over and over and over when we bring parents in and when we bring other team members in and train them on what we've been doing. It's a game changer for all the kids, and the ones that benefit are the kids. And that is our priority. We want our kids to make as much progress as possible in the shortest amount of time possible. So that's how we work here.